All right, guys, welcome in. It's Monday morning. It's time for Total Bases, your go-to show for free MLB information right here on WagerTalk TV. It is a duo again today, myself and Tokyo Brandon. We hope Bryan Leonard is feeling better, and I think we will have him back tomorrow. Hope everyone had a great weekend, and we're going to get right into it. There is a TB, you were commenting off air. It's a pretty nice Monday slate. There's a lot to talk about today.
There's a lot to like. Yeah. Got a few plays out. I'll probably give most of them out on the show as we usually do. Don't tell Kelly. And yeah, it'll be a good show because few games, but there is including props and money lines as well. So we will get to all of them, hopefully. Definitely we'll be giving you some free stuff. As we always do for our loyal listeners and viewers. So thanks for always tuning in and commenting.
TB, what is do you know what this hat is right here? Do you know what this stands for?
No. Looks like the Yankees, but I'm guessing it's a minor league Yankees club. SWB.
That's
anyone
correct.
In the chat know?
I bet there's people in the chat
knows. That would be pretty impressive, wouldn't it?
I think I don't know if Aaron Pauling is here, but I think he might be like from this area. Someone that's here regularly is like from that area. Anyway, you're right though, TB. It's Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the AAA team for the Yankees. Great little ballpark. It's about 2.5 hours south of where I live. So I'll get down there every once in a while. But
in Pennsylvania,
the real reason I have the hat on is we had like a bunch of power outages in my area. So Mallory's home today. She's not at work, and she was like, "Your hair's all effed up. Like you got to put a hat on." So I threw the hat on. That's one reason. And two, I picked this one because our guy Alan Winans is trading his Scranton Wilkes-Barre hat in today for a New York Yankees hat, as he's getting the call to make the start against the Reds in Cincinnati. So that creates sort of an interesting matchup. Actually, this is going to be a really interesting series all around, and this is where we'll start today. Tomorrow, you have Chase Burns, who is easily the top pitching prospect in Major League Baseball right now. He's going to make the start for the Reds tomorrow. Tonight, Alan Wine is not really a prospect, TB. I guess he still kind of is. He made it up with the Braves last year, but since he's shown up in the Yankees organization, he has been lights out at AAA. I believe it's Yarborough that hits the IL, opens up a spot in the rotation, which, you know, with some of the other injuries to Yankees pitching this year, it's something that they desperately need to fill. So that's what we're going to find out. Is Alan Winans going to be that guy for the Yankees? He's up against Nick Lodolo here. Talk to me a little bit about Reds Yankees and how you're trying to look at this one. You're muted, bud. All right, I can't. Try talking again. I think you're.
How's that? Am I back?
Okay. You are very much back.
Sorry about that. So he's the X factor here. And yeah, he did have, I guess he's got about 40 innings of major league experience, but hasn't done real well in those. Gave up quite a few runs, but you know, young guys who just get called up tend to do that sometimes. He is the X factor. And as I've said in shows previous, I don't like to really put money on X factors. I like to put money on things that I know. And what I know is, you know, I know more about Nick Lodolo than I do about a guy with 40 or less innings of experience. By the way, I was muted, but what I was trying to say while I was muted is you and Andrew have the two best heads of hair at WagerTalk. So if you're having a bad hair day, then we know something is wrong, seriously wrong in New York. So you're in New York, right? Upstate.
Upstate. Actually, we had horrible weather yesterday. We basically had a tornado, and I didn't have power for most of the day. That's no excuse for the hair looking like shit, but that's, you know, we're lucky we're here today because I didn't have internet until like almost midnight last night or power. So
Wow.
happy to be back.
Scranton is only 2 hours from you, huh? Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Yep.
Got it. Okay, cool. So as I was saying, let's see, Reds are hitting better than the Yankees right now. The Yankees are in a little bit of a cold spell here in the last week or so. Reds are hitting a little better, but kind of dipping from what they were a few days ago. The Reds bullpen is absolutely horrible right now. I have them ranked 26 out of 30, where the Yankees are pretty mediocre at 15 out of 30. This is current form, though. This doesn't mean this is what they are, because my rankings are very fluid depending on how teams have been performing lately. Lodolo, I have him ranked 18 on a curve of 30 out of all starting pitchers. So not real good. I guess, if anything, I might go with a Yankees team total over, perhaps, because the Reds bullpen has been performing so poorly. And Lodolo is not exactly a pitcher I have a lot of confidence in. Yankees are, well, I think the Yankees will be turning it on pretty soon. I haven't played this, but if I did, that's probably the way I would go.
T Moss in the chat says, my stepdad is from Rome, New York. Rome is the town over for me, Tokyo Brandon, and also probably the most famous thing to ever happen in Rome, New York that I think you can relate to was Woodstock '99. Woodstock '99 was in Rome, New York. Was a total
now
disaster.
if you said Woodstock 69, then I'd be pretty impressed. But that's Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin and stuff. That would be some cool stuff. But
so yeah, this is a really, interesting sort of, I thought I would try to find a way in with the Yankees here, because I look at the number and I said, like my instant gut reaction was that's awfully cheap for the Yankees, right? Like you're looking at minus 120. You really haven't had, you really haven't had prices where like the Yankees are minus 120 and it really kind of sets up in their favor. And I think it kind of does here. The question you have to ask, like you look at Alan Winans at the big league level the last 2 years. I'm almost willing to to give him a clean slate this year. And the reason being, new organization. Obviously, they're going to try some new stuff. TB, as a scout and someone that has watched guys at the lower levels like throughout your career, it's almost like the Braves gave up on him a little bit. It wasn't that he wasn't good in the Braves organization, but 2023 and 2024, he got up very limited. Last year, I think he made 2 starts last year, and they were both like emergency type starts where he was called up like the day of. They needed an arm. That's really difficult on a certain guys it works, certain guys it doesn't, right? And again, I think they just the Braves kind of moved on from him. Whatever the Yankees have done, they've unlocked something here. At AAA this year, his ERA is 0.90. His WHIP is 1.04. Guys are hitting 211 against him, and he's got 59 strikeouts in 50 innings. So, there's a couple games he's had at AAA, 11, 10 strikeouts. We never really know if it's going to play at the big league level. Like we just don't, right? Like we can guess and we can say, well, I think this is going to translate. But I'll tell you, as someone that has watched countless hours of AAA, the Alan Winans that pitched for Gwinnett the last 2 years at AAA was not this dude, right? He was good. He wasn't out there just wiping guys out, sub 1 ERA, racking up strikeouts, so on and so forth. So my gut says he's probably better than where the market has him. And for that reason, I'd have to look at the Yankees.
Sounds good.
All right. We are getting in the groove here. Go ahead.
Can we address the Ohtani thing? Because someone is making a comment about that. Because I'd like to get your opinion on this too. It's not exactly a game per se, but here, let me put the timestamp down real quick. Ohtani, because they have put him in the game. Let's see. Let's bring that comment up. What about what's going on with Ohtani? They have put him in the game and pitched him for 1 inning Here we go. They've pitched him for 1 inning in each one. Do you see his usage going up? I checked his prop yesterday, and his strikeouts prop was 2.5, and I was really tempted to take the under. But, Dave Roberts is the most idiotic manager in all of Major League Baseball, and you have no idea what he's going to do. Unpredictable, horrible manager. The Dodgers are winning despite him being their manager, and I just didn't know, but I was real tempted to take his under 2.5 strikeouts because I figured they're going to leave him in for 1 inning. Do you have any inside information or know if they're going to eventually make him a starter or make him a closer or make him a middle reliever or increase his innings? So for me personally, I think as a scout, teams value starting pitching more than anything. Starting pitching is like gold. That's why Patrick Corbin still has a job. He's pitching well this season, but I mean, a guy who can pitch 5 innings every 5 days is gold in Major League Baseball. So if he can start, they'll make him a starter, but I don't know when. And I don't know what the time schedule is, or they're going to keep making him an opener. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are they like him as an opener because the Dodgers right now have a bunch of these good bulk guys, right? They've got a handful of guys that they don't really want to make starters, but that can give them 4 or 5 quality innings. So like a Ben Kasparius, Justin Robleski, there's a couple other ones where it's like, it seems to me like the Dodgers trust them in a multi-inning role, like a 3-4 inning type role, but they don't. They must just not sort of meet the criteria, for the Dodgers of like, this dude's an every 5th day starter. And Landon Knack is like that a little bit. There's 4 or 5 in their organization. Now, the Dodgers have like Tyler Glasnow pitched yesterday for Oklahoma City. Like there are guys, like they actually have quite a bit of pitching. So my gut says I don't see like the need right now with all the pitching they have coming back. And some of these guys that can give them 3-4 good innings, I don't see the need for anything more than like an inning or 2 from Ohtani. So I think you're going to continue to see Ohtani in the opener type role because, if he can start you off, come in, get 3 outs to start a game, like that's, a pretty big advantage if you can then hand the ball to Robleski with no damage, right? Or the Kasparius is the other one they like to put in that role. So that's kind of what I see with that. And I don't know that there's much actionable there, but I would be surprised if they're really pushing him like to go deep into games. I just don't see the point. I don't see the point. They have too much pitching, and Glasnow is probably due back soon. I'll wrap up the Reds-Yankees discussion. Like David Witt makes a great point. He wasn't pitching against Ellie De La Cruz, though. Yeah, that's always the sort of battle here. You see a lot of guys that have good numbers at AAA. They have success at AAA. They don't have it in the big leagues. The one thing I will point out is what I'm saying is I watched this dude the last 2 years in AAA be kind of okay, and then obviously get called up and he got rocked. This year, he's been easily one of the best pitchers in AAA, not even close. Numbers compare, like, I'm not saying he throws anything like Jacob Misarowski, but for where my ratings are and sort of like, like they've been in the same category at AAA. Now, is he going to come up and throw 103 and throw, 6 no-hit innings? No, probably not. But I do think he's got a better chance to get big league hitters out this time around than he did, the first time he got called up. And that's why I think there's a little bit of value with the Yankees. Good segue here, Tokyo Brandon. You brought up my guy, Patrick Corbin, Clay, New York native, Central New York native, still in the league. And he's starting again tonight. The Rangers hit the road. They're going to take on the Baltimore Orioles. Interesting matchup here. Trevor Rogers was the guy that the Orioles basically gave away. I think it was Kyle Stowers and Kobe Mayo for last year near the trade deadline. Has not been the guy that they thought that they were trading for. To this point, he did have a good start a couple weeks ago. He is on the mound for the Orioles tonight. Talk to me a little bit about this game because the Orioles, man, it feels like they're just about to be sort of cooked this year. The Rangers, on the other hand, I still think they're going to turn the corner at some point. So how are you seeing this series? We lost you again, TB. We keep losing your volume. Still out. Go to Mike 3. I don't know why we keep losing you here. That's all right. I'll start talking about this one, and when TB gets his volume back. Oh, there you go. There you go. No, we lost you again. We lost you again. I don't know. You're in and out. Well, you can keep playing around with it. You can keep playing around with it. I'll start this one up. Let me.
Hey, I'm back. I had a loose wire. I'm
go.
sorry. Loose wire on my microphone. It was right here on my microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, so loose wire. I'm a loose wire. But anyway, guys, I'm not going to be commenting on the YouTube today. For some reason, YouTube shut down my YouTube account for obviously no reason. I haven't uploaded a video in 7 years, and suddenly they came in and shut my account down. So I can't log into my YouTube account. So I won't be commenting or commenting on the replay either until for some odd reason they bring my account back. So anyways, regarding this, the Orioles have burned me. I had the team total over 3.5 yesterday. My numbers love the Orioles, but I don't know why. So I'll tell you, my numbers have the Orioles batting 16 out of 30. My numbers have their bullpen 6 out of 30. And my numbers have Trevor Rogers 10 out of 30 on a curve of 30 for starting pitchers. I know the sample size is small for Trevor Rogers. I actually liked him. He was for the Marlins back when, right? I actually kind of liked him. But sample size is small. It's another X factor in my opinion here. Trevor Rogers, Patrick Corbin, on the other hand, I have him ranked 20 out of 30 on a curve. He's been respectable. He's been putting in the 5 innings every start. I think his innings prop here is 17.5. I don't know if I would bank on him finishing 6 innings. But he is an innings eater, and he's done a very admirable job. Rangers bullpen, I have them ranked 7. So we got the number 6 and number 7 bullpens here. And then hitting, I have them almost dead even at 16. So my numbers like the Orioles, but I'm not going to be stupid and play them again like I did yesterday and get burned. They were plus 160 yesterday, and I took a little flyer on them and got burned. So they were winning until like the 7th inning, and then they barfed it up. But yeah, like you said, they're kind of a train wreck. My numbers still like them though, so this is probably one I'll stay off of.
Yeah, you mentioned Trevor Rogers and his days with the Marlins, and you have, like, if you go back to 2021, I mean, this dude had stuff that very much bordered on like elite stuff. I mean, he had a great fastball. He was getting a ton of swing and miss. So you have to think last year, remember, the Orioles traded for him last year he was the guy that they went out and got that was like, okay, we're in the race, right? This was their trade. Last year, we're in the race. We need a starting pitcher. And this was who they went out. They could have traded for other guys. Like, there was other guys out there, and this was their target. The guy that they wanted to give up Kyle Stowers and Kobe Mayo for was this guy. So you have to think that they saw last year at some point that he could get back to what he was in like 2020 and 2021. Now, that has very much not been the case to this point. That we all know. You don't need either of us to tell you that has not been the case. He was horrible last year, and he started this year down at AAA. But if you've watched in the last couple of months, so in May, at Norfolk in May, his whip was 1. As we know, like, if you have a starting pitcher with a whip of 1, granted, it was at AAA, a starting pitcher with a 1 whip is very, very good. And actually, one of those starts was for the Orioles. It was against the Red Sox, 6 1/3 shutout ball at the big league level. So, that's kind of what I look at and say, if he can get back to anything close to like what he was, the upside for him relative to where the market has him is going to be pretty great, right? Because right now the betting market is pricing him as he's some just total bum, which he's been, but there's a lot of upside there. Whereas, a guy like Patrick Corbin, we joke because he's a guy I followed for a long time. He's from the area that I live in now. I mean, I would say that he's probably already. Would you agree, TV, that he's probably already realized his upside for this year? Like,
oh, sure.
What right? Like what he's done to this point, it's probably as good as it's going to get for Corbin.
Sure. But he's probably going to level off. I don't see him dipping down. I expect him to level off. He's not a guy who generally gets fatigued as the season goes on, like some guys do. Maybe I'm missing something, but that's my observation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I figured that this would be a better situation for him this year in Texas as opposed to being on
good
that
organization
team.
Yeah,
good organization. He's not following other lefties in the rotation.
Yep.
But I guess
it's as good as it's gonna get for Corbin. You're right.
If I'm just going off of gut here, my gut says from this point forward, Corbin is either as good or worse as he's been to this point this season.
Agree.
Trevor Rogers in my opinion, is likely to be better the rest of the way this season than he was last season. And the masses, aka all the people betting this game, probably are unaware that he just had a great month for Norfolk at AAA, where he posted a 1 whip and his stuff looked really good. So I don't know that I'll get to the window with this one, but the Orioles are very intriguing in this spot. Rangers had that series. I think they go from Pittsburgh to Baltimore here. They've been on the road. I feel like offense, the bats have been sketchy for the Rangers all year. Orioles have hit the ball better at home. The only problem is they've hit right-handed pitching better than left-handed pitching, but I think it would be Orioles or pass for me here. And I wouldn't put
my
anyone
numbers
off.
like them, but and after that, they should have won, would have, could have, but they should have won the game against the Yankees yesterday, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, they might be a good flyer to take if it's good plus money. Maddox is a hell of a pitching coach, Craig. You're right on that. Maddox is a master, man. He lost his stuff completely in his last few years of his career, and he was still mesmerizing hitters like with the mental game. He lost his stuff completely, and he was still striking guys out. It was pretty amazing.
Sean, I got you. I saw the tweet. Sean Michael hyping us up on Twitter for the views for the show. Very much appreciate that. Got to mention that to him. Appreciate he's always in here. Gives us the love. He does get on me when I sort of misvalue the Tigers. Although I've been kind of right about that of late. But no, we appreciate all of you guys, and we'll take any likes and subscribes that we can get. Yeah. But listen, I said this is always going to be a better show when there's 3 of us. We certainly miss Bryan. Can't wait to have him back tomorrow. But we try to show up every day, 5 days a week, and just give you guys as much info as we can to help you bet the MLB slate. And that we're going to work through it when we got a guy down. The other 2 are going to be here trying to, just trying to give you good info. So that's what we're trying to do. So we'll take all the likes, subscribes, comments. It really does help out the show, and it's free to do. So if you're enjoying the content, give us those likes, give us those subscribes. And if you're so inclined, like Sean, tweeting at us, we love that too. So very much appreciate it. He thinks I'm already, Sean, he thinks I'm already fading Skubal tomorrow. I have not even thought that far ahead. And I don't want to fade Skubal. I've said on a number of occasions, I think he can win the Cy Young this year. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing that. But Tigers did not play well this weekend. I will say
hyper's a good way to describe Sean. Oh geez, they're playing the A's tomorrow. No. And Skubal's at home. Are you kidding me? They're going to be like minus 250. Yeah, minus 280. Yeah, that's exactly what I expected. Yeah.
All right, I saw some chatter earlier. I'll see if I can find the comment, but we have a couple people in the chat that want to talk Braves Mets. Pretty interesting series here. It's I got burned. I've been on a really good run in baseball, but one of the ones I missed was Friday with the Mets. They kind of burned me, and it worked out just as I hoped it would. The Mets had Wheeler out after the 5th inning. It was a 2-2 game heading into the 7th. and the Phillies blew it open off the Mets bullpen, which eventually the Mets lost 2 of 3 in a series that I really felt like they needed to get more out of because, of course, they had lost 6 straight games coming into the series. The Mets did win on Saturday. They get blown out last night. So now, TB, looks like we're looking at 8 of the last 9 games the Mets have lost, and things aren't getting much easier for them because they've got to face Spencer Schwellenbach and the Braves at Citi Field tonight. So the people want to know how you're sort of seeing this one. Braves Mets feels like another big sort of desperate spot for the Mets right here.
Yeah, I have 4 plays out in MLB today, and I'm selling 2 of them, and this is one of the ones I'm selling. So you're right. The Mets are pretty desperate. Schwellenbach is a great pitcher, though. He only walks 13% of the guys he strikes out. I have him ranked 6th on a curve of 30. And I got the Braves bullpen ranked 5 out of 30, where I have the Mets bullpen ranked 28. Now, that doesn't mean that they're the 28th worst bullpen in all of MLB. It means they're performing the 28th worst in MLB, and they are. Braves are hitting better, and if you look at the one-on-one stats, Blackburn tends to get crushed by these batters. Let me make sure that I'm saying that correctly because I looked at it before the show, and the reason I played the Braves, one of the reasons why I played the Braves is because Blackburn the Braves crushed him in 38 at-bats against, a 306 average against, and a 931 OPS. I've mentioned on previous shows that I like to take 750 OPS as a Mendoza line. Anything over that, you're owning the pitcher. Anything under that, the pitcher's owning you. Braves, I mean, for this price, Braves, excellent play here. On the road is the only concern because the Braves are 13-26 on the road. But I looked at Schwellenbach's numbers, and he's actually not bad on the road. For a 4.19 ERA compared to a 2 ERA at home. So yes, there's a bit of a drop off, but I think the starting pitching, the discrepancy in starting pitching here is huge. The Mets are coming back home, and usually teams coming back home start a little flat. So I think if the Braves are going to win in New York, it's going to be this game where they have every advantage that I can see. So I have the Braves on the money line as one of my client plays that's for sale today.
I very much agree with you right there, TB. I felt I had it jotted down. So they're on my, what I consider to be my like potential play list. And one of the things I jotted down was, the price is probably right, like probably where I would make it. I think my fear is just, the one time because I've been very pro Mets. We've done the show. I've been sort of, I've been right since April. I've been hyping up the Mets. I think I'm on record saying I felt like they were the best team in the National League. Now you got to go, going back a couple of weeks. I think, it was hard to argue with that. Now, obviously, they're in a slump in a big way. And I guess my fear is picking the one spot where I decide to go against them, and then they just show up. Soto's hitting bombs, everything clicks, and they beat me in that regard. That being said, like I kind of agree with you. I don't think it's here. Schwellenbach's been he's one of the, Brian Leonard talked about Schwellenbach a ton. I wanted to see if I did have his page up here. You look at his page, like elite fastball. There's a lot to like about his pitching profile. So in my opinion, he's a guy that I would only really want to play on. I'm not dying to fade, a guy with a 1.01 whip that's got the underlying metrics to sort of back it up. Paul Blackburn, man, it's actually incredible he's even pitching this year. He had like a spinal fluid leak last year that he had to have back surgery for. And it was like, there was a point in time during the offseason where they didn't know if he'd ever step on the mound again. So the fact that he's back in the major leagues is incredible. But at the same time, you've got to start to look, and he's got an ERA that's approaching 7 in the big leagues this year. You've got to start to look and say, is that just what he is at this point? A guy that's 5.6 ERA, maybe he shouldn't be starting games. Maybe he's someone that can give you 2-3 good innings out of the bullpen. that's my sort of assessment of Paul Blackburn at this point. I haven't really seen much that suggests that he's going to get back to the point he was at when he was a very productive starter with the A's. So, it's a small sample size this year, and he did have that good start against the Dodgers, but the last couple times out, it's just out over the plate, hard contact. Not someone I really want to go up against Schwellenbach with. So Braves are pass for me. I think you're on the right side here, TV.
And I really liked him when he played for the A's. He was like a pillar of their rotation, and he was a really good pitcher. I think it was about 3 years ago. But he was solid. He's a guy that I loved to back then, but not this year. Not this year.
You just have to think. I mean, I've had back problems my whole, pretty much. I used to play soccer pretty competitively, and right up until in my 30s, I was in pretty competitive men's league, and I herniated a disc in my back, and I personally have not been the same since, right? So I just can't. I can't fathom. I don't know how you have back surgery in the off season and then you're just pitching in the big leagues the next year and it's not compromised at all. I don't know. This does not look like the same guy that I remember liking when he was on the A's, and I could only probably continue to fade him. So I'm surprised you didn't throw that in the parlay. If you don't, I might. I haven't decided yet. But Braves is you're gonna all right.
Okay. Now that you mention it. And by the way, Alex Miller out there. Yeah. Thanks for watching my show on Saturday. My Google Sheets. Some of the stats are automatically updated and some I do manually, but yeah, thanks for watching that.
All right. What do we got?
Obviously my YouTube account got canceled for some odd reason. I haven't uploaded anything for years, but anyway, I'll comment verbally to you guys. And Sean, just stop, dude. You're so immature. I mean, saying that I'm a hater because I picked the team that the opposite team that you're backing is just so silly. So stop.
I like Sean. I think it's part of Sean's bit. I think that's his
annoying,
bit, but it is.
You're not going to win, so just stop.
We love you, Sean. We love everyone in the chat. And listen, I don't. Even the negative comments, we really appreciate the feedback regardless. So, keep them coming. We'll take any engagement we can get. That being said, TB, I do see the Mets taking a little bit of money. So right now it looks like you can get Braves. I'm going to put minus 132 here. I'll look closer to the end of the show. We don't have our numbers guy, Bryan Leonard, today, but I mean, if the more money the Mets take right there, I would say the Braves just become more appealing. And I get it. The Mets continue to take money. There is a group of bettors out there, and very well might be sharp bettors that are continuing to take prices with the Mets. If you go back to Friday, that Mets line moved from plus 200 to plus 150, and they got crushed. So I wouldn't put too much thought into that. It's been a daily thing where sharp bettors are continuing to take prices with the Mets. But I personally need to see them turn a corner a little bit, I think, before I get involved with this team again. Go ahead, Tim.
I got the Braves at minus 125.
Yeah, I mean I think that's probably,
and that was us cappers at WagerTalk. When we put plays out, the lines automatically come up, and that was the line I got from WagerTalk. So
yeah, so that's interesting because I think this got bet up. So you probably got in. I think it was up as far as minus 140. It looks like the Mets buyback is coming in right now. So for the parlay, I just did a quick scan. We're going to call it Braves minus 135. I think that's fair. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets took a little bit more money. And you personally, if you shop it around, can probably get minus 130 or even that minus 125 that TB got. But yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's just a much better matchup for the Braves. And of course, they played last night, which I don't put a ton of stock into, but I think it's worth noting that they're coming off a, sort of high emotion series with the Phillies, Sunday Night Baseball, and have to turn around quickly and play the Braves is not necessarily the best case scenario for them.
And they're in a funk too.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. I just had a comment. Oh, I put it up already. That's Kevin Piquette. He says, I've got a question about the Seattle Twins game, cheap price at the moment. I got to think he's referring to a cheap price for the Mariners, because I kind of agree with that. I saw this, this morning, saw the pitching matchup. I've been high on the Mariners in general. Talked about them on Friday. Said I would find a spot to play the Mariners in that series. I did. It was yesterday. They won 14-6. Have also talked about how I like the Mariners more on the road this year, Tokyo Brandon. But the reason I like them on the road is because I don't think their home ballpark is conducive to how they've set up the team. A lot of home run hitters. It feels like they really sort of rely on the long ball to generate offense. So Target Field isn't exactly a hitter park, right? I think that's another park that definitely plays in favor of pitching. So that's where the Mariners are headed tonight, heading up to Minnesota, where I believe the Twins just got swept by the Brewers over the weekend. But I was in the same boat as Kevin Paquette. I saw Mariners. I love Bryan Woo. I said only -120. That seems cheap. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, Bryan Woo is, man, what is he, their third pitcher in the rotation? What a heck of a third pitcher to have in your rotation, man. He's been good for a couple years. He's one of those guys who goes deep into games. I caught a outs recorded prop for him at 17.5. It's moved to 18.5. So do you do 18.5? Well, looking at his last 5 or so starts, he goes 6 innings almost every time, but does he go over 6 innings is the question. Will he record an out in the 7th inning? That gets a little dicey because lots of things can happen. He's not a guy that generally throws 100 pitches, right? They usually take him out after 86 to 90 pitches, but he still finishes 6 innings almost every start. So yeah, I like, if you can get him over 17.5, that's great, but it's moved to 18.5. I don't know if I would play that. Another play that I actually put out to my clients is Bailey Ober under 5.5 strikeouts. And I'll tell you why I like that. Let me put my numbers in real quick. The Bailey Ober is only striking out 6.57 guys per 9 innings. And Seattle is only striking out 9 per 9. So basically, Seattle's striking out at a rate of 1 strikeout per inning. Bailey Ober is striking people out less than 1 strikeout per inning. To get 6 strikeouts, he would have to go into the 7th inning, according to my projection. I don't see him doing that. So I did put out a client play on Bailey Ober under 5.5 strikeouts. I think that's a good play. I do like Seattle as well. But I think I have their team total or something like that instead of the wins. So I'm not playing them on the money line. But yeah, their offense is better. And Minnesota's bullpen is in a huge funk. And I have Bailey Ober ranked 24 out of 30 on a curve of 30 starting pitchers. So yeah, I think Seattle's going to score here.
Yeah, I listen, like I said, Kevin, I share the same sentiment where I kind of I'm going through games and I get to this one and I was like, I was expecting this to be more like -140, -145 for for the Mariners with Woo on the mound based on where I have these two pitchers rated. I guess I try not to play too much into this, but of course you've got the Mariners coming off of the series at Wrigley. That was a big series for them. They take 2 of 3. I guess I am worried slightly about a potential letdown just because that was like it was a crazy series, so much offense, a huge series for them to take 2 of 3. Now they turn around, have to go up to Minnesota against a Minnesota team that's going to be pretty hungry for a win coming off of a bad weekend. But if we're just looking at the matchup, I'll comment on the Woo outs prop that you touched on. I think Woo is probably undervalued in that market as well, because you got to remember, this is a guy the last couple of years that the Mariners kind of had to baby a little bit because he had a couple of different injuries. So they just straight up weren't letting him pitch deep into games, TB. It wasn't that he wasn't qualified to do so. They just were kind of dealing with him with like the kid gloves on because he had a couple of different injuries, cost some time, and they just didn't want to get him hurt again. So I think like when you look at this year, I don't think they're as I don't think they're limiting his pitch count as much. And I would say as the year goes on, they probably let him get to that 100 pitch mark more often than not. He doesn't walk anyone. He's got an elite fastball. His command is outstanding. I would say, like, the swing and miss stuff is I guess a little bit off of I'm just going to go back to his numbers from last year a little bit. That's I guess the one thing. No, I mean, he's pretty much right where he's been with his whole career. He's not like an elite strikeout guy, but he has an insane command.
Yeah, his command is amazing.
He doesn't really give up a ton of hard hit. He's always a guy. I really do like him. I think he's one of their best starters. I think he's probably the number 2 for me behind Gilbert, although when Kirby's rolling, he's really good. On the other side with Ober, this should be a good matchup for the Mariners because Bailey Ober, not only is he super inconsistent, it's all fly ball with him. He's a fly ball pitcher, barely gets any ground ball. Now, at home, that ballpark helps him out because it's a little bit bigger, harder to hit the ball out of. But the Mariners they're all trying to hit home runs. They've got 1 through 9. The majority of the guys in there, the approach is to try to hit the ball in the air and drive the ball out of the ballpark. So this would be the type of pitcher that you would want to play the Mariners against because Bailey Ober is going to give up that fly ball out. Can the park hold him? I guess we'll see. But Mariners certainly make sense here to me. And I agreed with Kevin all the way. I thought the price was probably about 20 to 30 cents off. So I like the Mariners. I'm going to go ahead, TB.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You're going to make that your parlay leg?
Maybe. I mean, actually, listen, let's do this for today. It seems like we both agree on Braves and we both agree on Mariners. I'm going to make Mariners -1. What do we got here? -120? -125?
I don't have them on the money line.
Let me see what
it was 125 before the show. I don't know if it's moved or not. As George Costanza says, I think it moved.
I see a couple different things. I see some places at -122. I see some books at -130. I'm just going to call it -125.
Yeah.
So here is the deal. It seems like we both sort of agree on Braves and Mariners. Right now, our 2-teamer is Braves and Mariners, but we've got 17 minutes left. If we agree on something else, we should make it a 3-teamer, I think, for today.
So I agree with that. Let me make one more comment on Seattle, too. Nobody's talking about it, but they have the MLB home run king on their team as well, their catcher. He has more home runs than Judge and Ohtani. So, they're slugging pretty good. And they should be slugging today against Ober as well. So,
hey, I love when I love Sean agrees here. We joke with him, but he says Woober's over is free. Nothing is free, but again, that's a drastic advantage for the Mariners from a starting pitching standpoint. Now, the Twins are going to have some of their better relievers here, but this Mariners bullpen still has bullpen arms. And they blew it open yesterday, 14-6. Like, that's the nice thing about that Mariners Cubs series is they were really kind of blowouts the last couple days, one way or the other. So the Mariners should have their allotment of bullpen arms. Swaggy McNolegs says over one. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No. This game should be -180. Let's face it, and it's only -120. And probably the reason is because the Twins are a good home team. At home, the Twins are 20-15, but the Mariners have a winning road record. So, yeah, that's probably why we're getting an advantageous line here.
Yeah, I made it -150. So, I mean, we're both sort of in the same mindset that this is cheap. Swaggy says over 1.5 Mariners home runs +140. I mean, listen, they are going to be – that is the approach here. I'll tell you right now, Bailey Ober gives up fly balls. The approach for the Mariners will not change. The goal – for them is to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's harder to do at Target Field than it is at Wrigley with the wind blowing out, but that is still the approach. Do they get 2? Probably a good it's a good chance. Like, unless Ober has his tip-top stuff, he's probably going to give up, a couple that leave the yard, and the game will probably be decided on whether there are guys on base when those home runs happen. But that's not a bad bet either. Over 1.5 home runs, I don't know, if that's what that should be priced. But if I'm just looking at the game, I think there's a pretty good chance they get a couple jacks in this game.
He's using Bill Murray in his avatar. That's cool. Okay.
All right. Let's see. we've got a couple people. I grabbed this comment, so it's Kevin again, but there's a couple people that have talked that want to talk Red Sox Angels.
Okay.
Kevin says he's fading Angels any chance he gets. I guess, like, I got to be honest, I was in that camp too. But the Angels have impressed me the last couple weeks. I'm not saying I'm not still on board with an Angels fade, but they've definitely, let's put it this way, Tokyo Brandon. I did not think so. If you go back to the beginning of the year, the Angels kind of got off to a nice start. I believe they were like 10-7 at one point, maybe 11-7. I thought this team was going to be 15 games under 500 by the end of June. Like, I was like, yeah, that is a just total, like, I think going into the year, I did a show with Bryan Power. We did an opening day show, and I said the Angels were the worst team in the American League, worse than the White Sox. Now, I'm probably going to be wrong about that, but I don't think I'm that far off yet. The Angels are 37-40 coming into this game. And yeah, they're playing, since the A's sweep, they took 3 or 4 from the Yankees. They played a pretty good game. They played pretty well all weekend. They lost 2 of 3, but 2 of them were 1-run losses. And then the blowout win on Saturday night. Where are you at on fading the Angels? Do you think this team's any good, or is this a sell for you?
Well, they've got some good young hitters like Ohopi, if that's how you say his name. Don't grill me for mispronouncing that weird name. But yeah, they got some good hitters. And when Trout's in the lineup, he's not what he was 5 years ago, but he's still a good player. He's only hitting like 222 this year, but he's a dangerous batter anytime you face him. I don't care if he's 45 years old. He's going to be dangerous. However, both of these lineups are struggling badly. Both of these starting pitchers are starting pitchers that I like to fade. I've never liked Walker Buehler ever. And Kachanowski, or whatever his name is, he used to be like a chronic walker on my chronic walker list, but he's removed himself from that list. He's had 2 starts where he's not, chronically walking people. So he's made his way off of that list. So I'm not playing his walks prop. He's still not a very good pitcher though. So this is the thing. If the lineups were producing, I would love to take an over in this game. But the neither lineup is producing, and neither starting pitcher is good. So basically we got the weakness against the weakness and another weakness against another weakness. So in that case, I really don't know which way to go on it. Over would be the only way I would think, but neither team's really hitting well.
Yeah, it's tough because I want to be in on this Red Sox team. Like, and this was well before the Devers trade. If you go back to the first series with the Yankees, when it was Red Sox Yankees and the Red Sox were heading to the Bronx, we did a show on a Friday. It was a weekend series, and I talked about the series, and I said this is the make or break series for the Red Sox. If they go into the Bronx and get swept, I felt like that was like the season was really kind of on the line for the Red Sox that weekend. They went into New York and took 2 of 3. It really forced I think, honestly, TB, I think Red Sox front office thought they were going to get swept in that series, and it was going to justify some of the moves. I think they were going to justify the Devers trade, like some of that stuff, like was going to be more justified. But the Red Sox have really rallied from that point. They swept the Yankees. So since that day, that was Friday, June 6th, we did that show. They took 2 of 3 from the Yankees, 2 of 3 from the Rays, swept the Yankees. It forced the hand of ownership to call up Roman Anthony. The Devers trade, we could sit here and debate whether it's I still am a little bit puzzled by that. But the point is, I like this Red Sox team. I like their bullpen. I do think Jordan Hicks eventually getting into that bullpen will help an already pretty good bullpen. So I want to really like this Red Sox team. I thought, tough weekend. They went on the road to San Francisco. They dropped 2 of 3, but again, it was a very competitive. It was a competitive series. They lost on Saturday, they lost 3-2. Yesterday, it took a 4-run inning from the Giants to sort of turn that game around. Believe they were down 5-1 or down 5-4, and then turned it into a 9-5 win. So haven't really no issues with how the Red Sox played this weekend. Obviously, Walker Buehler has been very hit or miss. Last time out for Buehler, he got crushed by the Mariners, 8 runs over 3 1/3. But if you go back, his previous start, 7 strong innings against the Rays. So I kind of think that there's a lot of unknown here. Buehler's been super inconsistent.
Yep.
Kachanowicz had a really good start against the Yankees, but I don't know if he's that guy. So I think Red Sox would be the Red Sox for me here. I think that it's got to be Red Sox or pass. I'm still in on this team being competitive in that division, and they're a game under 500. So Red Sox -114 is the lean in this one. And HB says Walker. Here's it. Walker should be a chronic walker. Walker Buehler. I think the Red Sox have bullpen arms. So if he can just survive 5 innings for them, I like their bullpen so much more than I like the Angels' pen. That's how I'm seeing this one.
Yeah, not good if your name is Walker and you're a pitcher in Major League Baseball. But, he's had a decent career. I've never liked him, even when he was at the Dodgers. I just haven't liked him. But you're going to back him. Hey, man, you got 2 pitchers with 5+ ERAs here, but 2 lineups that aren't really producing. I guess, I already gave my analysis, but Boston does have the much better bullpen. So I give you that.
A couple good comments still coming from Mariners Twins. Jose Perez says Wu is not free. He says Wu is not free today. You're exactly right. He's definitely not. There's never anything that's that easy. I just think, for me, he's a little undervalued in that spot. He makes a comment. Ron Washington is out for a while now. Is that a factor? I think it is, not because I think Ron Washington is just some elite coach at this point in his career. I'm actually shocked he's still a head coach, but I do think he has a great rapport with the players. I really think the players love him. He's one of the few guys that's still really an old school baseball guy that I really think is like puts the players first, manages on emotion a little bit. He's not, how so many of the managers now, Tokyo Brandon, are so ingrained in the numbers that like a dude will go 4 for 5 and they might bench him the next day because the splits aren't there. Like Ron Washington's never going to do that. Like he's just, he still manages like it's 1970. And I kind of like that.
Duffel, very cute dog. And Ron Washington, my best comment about him, 78 Topps baseball was the first baseball card set I ever put together when I was like 8 years old. And Ron Washington's got this huge fro sticking out of his Royals hat. It's a great card, the 78 Topps. Go Google it. It's pretty funny. But anyway, you're right. He's an old-fashioned manager. I think the game's pretty much passed him by, but the players do love him. So
yeah, so I to answer Duffel's question, that could be a factor because again, I think the players love him. I think they're, the vibes are good for the most part with where they're at, 3 games under 500. I'm sure you asked anyone in that locker room, hey, you're going to be 3 games under 500 on June 23rd. They would have all signed up for that immediately. So yeah, it could be a detriment because I think he's part of the reason that they're playing pretty good ball. Steve Duke says, not Minnesota. No, Minnesota, it's not a homer park. Can't do it. But that's also probably why you're getting kind of an okay price. And, guys still hit home runs in parks that don't yield them as often. You just kind of got to get a hold of one. But Bailey Ober, going back to that Twins-Mariners game, will give them up. David Cerna, good morning. Good morning, everyone in the chat. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Still got a few minutes left. We'll get another game. Let's go to Mark.
Yeah, almost 1,000 watching live, and we appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, 1,000 people in here. Missing Bryan Leonard as well. We hope he's feeling better soon. We hope to have him back tomorrow. But TB and I are doing our best to hold it down. Let's go to Mark Kinson. He says, can we cover Nats Padres? Of course we can cover Nats Padres. I believe that is it's one of the late games tonight. I think it's the last one on the board.
Yeah, it is.
Is it the late game? Oh, we got Drew Martin likes to call that the degenerate special, TB. It's like when you need to get out if you had a bad day and there's one game left on the board, you got to find something. So actually we've got 2 Red Sox Angels and Nationals Padres kick off at the same time. They're the only 2 sort of West Coast games tonight. So Nats Padres, let me go back to my go back to my sheet here. I want to make sure I get the. Do I have Mitchell Parker, Stephen Kolek? Is that what we're dealing with here, TB?
Yep.
All right. So kick us off. Nats Padres. How you seeing it?
So, yeah, I'm probably not going to play this game, but I'll give you my analysis. Kolek, guy, man, just don't know what to make of him. I got him ranked 20 out of 30. I got Mitchell Parker ranked 24 out of 30. So neither pitcher, a lot of confidence in either guy. Bullpens, I have them both ranked really mediocre, right around 15, 16 in current form. The only discrepancy I see between these teams, a big discrepancy, is the hitting. San Diego's bats have warmed up. They were really cold last week when we were doing this show, but they've picked up. They're hot now. And I got them ranked 9, where I got the Nats ranked 19. But the Nats are always a dangerous team. Anytime you got Wood, Abrams, I mean, they got young guys. They're stealing bases. They're a dangerous team, but they're not hitting real well right now. I see San Diego with the advantage here. Probably not enough to play them at -175. Don't know if I would take their team total either. Washington's bullpen was horrible, but they're actually performing. I don't know if I would say well. They're performing mediocre, which is better than they have been doing all year. So it's not like an auto team total over fade on the other team anymore, like they were at the beginning of the season. San Diego or nothing, but at that price, I don't have a lot of confidence in Kolek.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I thought the price was kind of crazy. I mean, listen, like Stephen Kolek got off to a nice start, upon being called up, was kind of a guy that I felt like they called up because they were desperate. I don't know that he was the first, second, or third choice to be a rotation piece for them, but you have Darvish hurt, Joe Musgrove, Matt Waldron, guys like that hitting the IL. Randy Vasquez not really, performing, earlier in the year as a guy that you want in the rotation. Kyle Hart, former NC Dino, struggled out of the gate. That's how far down the list they had to go to get Stephen Kolek. And to his credit, he took the opportunity and ran with it. He got a couple of cupcakes right out the gate. I think he faced the Rockies, the Pirates. He had some easier lineups, and he pitched well. But, I think as he started to go up against better lineups, tougher competition, he's just sort of like, leveling back off to where I would expect him to be. When I look at, he doesn't get much swing and miss. Everything he gives up a ton of hard contact. It seems like every ball that's hit is a laser that he gives up. Not getting swing and miss, doesn't strike anyone out. So, I kind of look at that and say, all right, like it's only going to get worse, right? Like if you're not striking guys out and you're giving up hard contact, right? The likelihood is, and I'm just going to pull up, I just want to get back to my main screen here to pull up his surface numbers. Surface numbers being the basic, so the ones that everyone looks at quickly. TB, 3.59 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. That seems really good. Like those are quality numbers just at a quick glance for a big league pitcher. 3.59 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. That's great. The problem is when you're giving up a ton of hard hit and you don't strike anyone out, to maintain those numbers at the big league level it's almost impossible because of the caliber of hitter you're up against. The Nationals have a lineup that is built to hit right-handed pitching, which is what they're up against here. Because Kolek's a right-handed pitcher. So I think the Nats are going to do some damage here. I think Nationals +1.5 makes sense. It's a little expensive at -145. I think you could take a shot with a Nats money line +150. I'm with you, TB. I thought that price was outrageous. Way too inflated with Stephen Kolek on the mound.
Can I propose a game to do? Because I want to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
So, sorry, chat. I'm going to overrule you guys. We're going to talk about Cubs and Cardinals here because the reason I'm going to do it, and let me get the timestamp down. We're at 59. Hang on. 59:20. So, the reason I want to talk this game is because I don't have a read on Brown. So I want to get your thoughts on that because Liberatore, I don't have him ranked very high. I think I have him ranked 20. Yeah. But Brown, Ben Brown, my numbers don't really like him and his peripherals not that great, but for some reason I have it in my head that he's a decent pitcher, but I really don't have a read on him. So why don't we get your thoughts on it? Because I don't really have a read on this game, which is why I wanted to bring it up.
Well, yeah, chat wants to talk about this too. Nabil said, he said, yeah, this is the game of the day. Yeah, how can you can't go wrong? Cubs Cardinals. I believe this is this I think this might be their first meeting of the year. I don't think we've had much Cubs Cardinals yet. It's obviously a great rivalry. As far as Ben Brown is concerned, I know Brian Leonard likes him probably more than the average bear does, if you will. Good fastball. There's definite listen, and Brian's a big fantasy baseball guy, so I get like typically the guys that he likes, like this fits the profile of someone that Brian would think has a ton of upside, and the reason is the fantasy baseball contingent really loves strikeout stuff, and that's the one thing Ben Brown has. He gets a lot of swing and miss. He's got good, his chase rate is good. His strikeout rate is very solid, and he's got a nice fastball. So the problem for him is he's leaving stuff out over the plate, right? Like when he can command that fastball a little bit better, he has the potential to be really good. Right now, the fastball tends to be out over the plate, and he's giving up hard hit because today's baseball player, Tokyo Brandon, they can all handle velocity. You can't I suppose if you're Jake Mizorowski, you can stroll in, throw 103 and you're all set. But Ben Brown doesn't throw 103, right? He throws 96. And he really is a 3-pitch pitcher. The other stuff is like, I think he has a curveball and a changeup, but neither are like overly effective. So it really comes down to fastball command for him. If the command is on, he can be very good. If it's not, big league teams are gonna hit a fastball. And that's where, that's like Colin Gregory in the chat. Great point. He said decent fastball, but decent stuff, but he needs more pitches. Yes, he has the profile right now of someone that could be a very good reliever in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But getting through 5-6 innings with 2 pitches, especially if you don't have elite command, is very difficult. So that's kind of where I'm at on Ben Brown. Okay. And but this game though, TB.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Cubs, I feel like they bounced back. Like that Mariners series was a tough one for them. The wind was blowing out. Their pitching just didn't hold up. I kind of think the Cubbies bounced back in this series a little bit. So I kind of lean their way, even though I do realize the upside with Brown. I think I'd lean their way and just hope that Ben Brown can spot that fastball and keep them in the game, because I could see them getting to was it Liberatore on the other side?
Liberatore, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, this Cubs offense is going to do damage at some point, so maybe here.
Suzuki sure is swinging a hot bat right now, but he seems to be the only Cub that's swinging a hot bat. They're I have their lineup pretty mediocre right now. I have the Cardinals leading in every category, so I would not be able to play the Cubs here. Cardinals, one of the best home teams in MLB, 24-15. Liberatore is one of those guys who just, you just don't know what you're going to get. He's a Jekyll and Hyde. In his last 3 starts, he's given up, 12, 13, 14 runs in his last 3 starts. But in a 5-run stretch before that, he gave up 2 or less runs in 5 straight starts. So what are you going to get from him? What is he? You just don't know. So I don't like putting my money on stuff that I don't know. So, but if anything, it'd be the Cardinals for me, but I'm certainly not interested in it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I just going back to the last game for a second, because I don't want to gloss over. Eric made a comment. I really didn't talk about Mitchell Parker. He's right. Like, he's got hard hit on him as well. I could almost see that game being an over. And then I could almost see this Cubs-Cardinals game producing runs as well, because that's the one thing. So Colin says Cubs-Cardinals first 5 over 5. Like, you're not going to hold this Cubs lineup down very, very often. Like, this team can hit, and they are going to, they're going to destroy just about anyone. They just got out hit by a Mariners team that can hit home runs this weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Cubs had a crooked number or 2 in them here. And then you go to Brown. If his command is off, he leaves the balls over the plate, and the Cardinals certainly have the horses to take advantage of that as well. So I kind of think both of those suggest over as well.
To back up what you're saying, probably my Cubs offensive numbers are so low because they just played the team with probably the best pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball. So yeah, that tends to do it. Seattle's pitching staff is stellar. I mean, there's nothing you can say bad about them. They are just so good, top to bottom, relief, everything. They're just so good. I think it's the best pitching staff in Major League Baseball.
Interesting comment here. Dio Snake says, I think the Cubs are due for a short-term slump, which started a little bit this past weekend. Definitely something I'd be wary of, and for no reason other than they've been so good to this point that, like, you even the best teams, the elite teams, are going to slump a little bit. It's what you're kind of seeing with the Mets right now as well, where they could be 15, 16, or what, maybe even approaching 20 games over 500, and then just go into a total cooler, right? Like just a total cold streak. I don't think the Cubs. It's just basically how it goes. Yeah, and so I think there's some merit to Dio Snake's comment that, like, maybe they are due for a little bit of a slump, and that's I don't disagree with that one bit. It's probably why I won't play them here on the road.
Every team's going to have a slump. Every team's going to have a slump. Just like us professional bettors, we're all going to have a losing streak. Every Major League Baseball team is going to have a slump. It happens. There's 160 games. It's going to happen.
For sure. Yeah. Long season. Listen, I'll come on here. I had a awful April. And even not a great May. I'm hot right now, but I think that's like the best, I'm on a great run right now. I'm 18-6 last 24 games, but I'm not gonna, it's all like one big picture, right?
Yep.
Some of that's just me getting some of the breaks, getting some of the close wins, and suddenly I'm on a good run. I don't feel like I knew any less in April or May or had like a worse approach. I just think I wasn't getting the breaks. It's a long season. You kind of just got to battle through it. And I'll promote myself for a minute. I've got a 5%er in Major League Baseball today. I went 4-0 yesterday. So, we'll see if we can keep it rolling.
So we do very little promoting on this show because Bryan, you and I, we're not salespeople. We just love baseball. We just love to talk about it. But yes, grab Adam's 5% play because his 5% plays are pretty good. I have 2 plays out for sale. I gave you one. You can go get the other. But 5% plays are pretty rare. We're only allowed like 4 or 5 a month. So grab Adam's 5% play.
Appreciate that, TB. And we have a we have a 2-team parlay that we totally agree on. We did not plan that. I did not see that coming when we got on the show today. But we basically, I don't even know. I mean, I'm just going to give it out. This is the I think the kids call this a collab, TB. I think that's what they call it.
Okay.
Collab.
Okay. Sure.
Anyway, plus 214 odds. Very simple. Braves money line, Mariners money line. I definitely think you're getting Schwellenbach and Bryan Wu here. I think if they both come out and throw the ball the way that they can throw it today, that both of their respective teams are going to have a very good chance to win their games. So nice quick 2-teamer, hopefully.
I like it.
I think we started last week off with a 2-teamer to get to up 18.1 units on the year for the show parlay, and then we lost them the rest of the week. So I'm pretty sure we come into today. I think we're up $14.10 for every dollar on these parlays, which is still tremendous. Hopefully we can knock off a 2-teamer, and then we'll be off and running for the week. But yeah, 2-teamer parlay of the day for the show. Braves, Mariners. 10-10 already. We went over a little bit, but
Brian's
I got
not
time
here.
today.
It's okay. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It's going to be a 2-man show tomorrow with Adam and Bryan because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. So I'm going to do Saturday again, though.
Why don't you tell the viewers what you got going on Saturday? Because you just did one this past week, right?
Yeah, basically, I always talk on this show about my my spreadsheets, and I got this team in current form, this and that. So basically, I open up my spreadsheet, I share my screen, and I just show people how I do my cap with KBO as well. I just open up my spreadsheet, I show you guys exactly how I'm typing the guys' names in, and if it's this odds, I do it for this and this. It's basically just a peek behind the curtain. I'm the Wizard of Oz, baby. Just a peek behind the curtain. And people seemed to like it. Baseball geeks, man, we love that stuff. It's cool.
Listen, Justin Coolin makes the point of the show today. We're just trying to kick the crap out of the books. We're all on the same side. We're just trying to beat the books, share info, and make well-educated bets. And we'll keep trying to show up and do that 5 days a week. TB and I are out. Appreciate you guys tuning in today. Yes, it'll be myself and Bryan Leonard tomorrow, and we'll have the three-man weave back on Wednesday, all three of us for the rest of the week. So we'll have it back the rest of the week. Good luck tonight, everyone, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Appreciate you tuning in.